Off to our left, it's an antelope right there. The more gray-colored one up on the hill by the lonesome is a greater kudu. Greater kudu, they're one of the taller antelopes in Africa, about 5-6 feet tall.
와, 노루.
Not only the male greater kudu actually have horns, that's a female right there. I didn't mention earlier some of the animals in the interior forest, they use camouflage to hide. Kudu are actually a fantastic example of that. Their gray fur actually helps them blend in with the sun rays coming into the canopy of the forest. Alright guys, we are approaching the Safi River now, to a lot of the more aquatic animals out here. Just keep your eyes on the water. Now immediately up to our right, hanging out on this island here, a bunch of birds, more white-colored ones. These are some pink-backed pelicans. Now they're called pink-backed pelicans, well, because they got pink coloring on their back. Underneath their wings too, if you look closely. It's a bit hard to see, but it'll be a lot more prominent and vibrant during mating season.
오리보다 큰
Mating
애들이야.
season, they'll get some pink coloring on their cheeks would be. Almost like they're blushing.
많아.
Off to our left, folks, hippos.
하마.
These are Nile hippos right here. Hippo are nocturnal animals. They're active at night. So maybe they're foraging for food. Now they'll leave the water, walk up about 5-6 miles to find food. Or they come back to their favorite watering holes because they are territorial creatures, so they do have their favorite spots. Now they'll spend most of their daytime in the water, try to stay out of the sun as much as they can. So hippos, they can't actually sweat. They don't have any sweat glands. Now they do produce this oily substance on their skin called blood sweat though. It's not actually blood, not actually sweat, it's just kind of red color is why it's called that. It still helps cool down. Like I mentioned earlier, a group of hippos is known as a bloat. That was a bloat of hippos we passed. Off to our left, folks, a little valley here, some Nile crocodiles. Largest reptile in all of Africa, about 16 feet long, fully grown.
악어 커. 악어 입 벌리고 있어. 우와, 악어. 악어 여기 또 있어. 진짜야?
Now, in addition to being prolific predators, crocodiles are actually amazing mothers. Crocs lay eggs, and when those eggs are getting ready to hatch, the moms will scoop them up in their mouths, roll them around on their tongues, which actually helps keep the hatching process smooth with babies. Now, once they have hatched, they will occasionally hold their young in their mouths. That's more of a defensive behavior, like when they have to get away quick or something like that. For the most part, though, when they're just kind of wandering around day to day, they like to keep their babies on their backs. Alright guys, we're about to enter the savannah, home to a lot of the more famous animals you might recognize, but off to our right, it's a really strange looking tree. It's like it's upside down. It's roots out in the air. It's not actually upside down, of course, it's a baobab tree. Also known as the Tree of Life. Now, baobab trees are called the Tree of Life due to the absolutely massive amount of water they hold in their trunk. Now during the drier seasons, elephants, they'll come up to baobabs, poke holes in them with their tusks, and actually drink water out of those holes. Now, smaller creatures, they'll chew on the reeds or the stems of the baobab tree, and they'll drink water out almost like a straw. Let's see, not too much right next to us. Let's see a bit further up, some Ankole cattle. I see some giraffe. That's right. Now those longhorn-looking creatures way off in the distance, some Ankole cattle, like I said. Ankole cattle are one of only 2 domesticated animal species out here in the reserve. The other is the Nigerian dwarf goat. And we'll see those later. Absolutely massive horns, about 6 feet from tip to tip, fully grown. Now, out of this little group of Ankole cattle right here, the only adult is actually off to the right. These little guys are only about a year and a half old, these calves. And that's their daddy right there, the adult. Now their horns are a little bit smaller, of course, and more differently shaped, but they will eventually grow to about, like I said, 6 feet from tip to tip, like our big friend right here. Now while those horns are huge, they're actually not particularly heavy. They're semi-hollow. They got a honeycomb structure inside of them, which increases the animal's blood flow and in turn lets them regulate their internal temperature a little better. Now you might be wondering what some of these strange looking pillars are scattered around the environment that we're passing. These are actually termite mounds. Well, Animals love to use termite mounds as scratching posts. They're extremely hard. Almost as hard as concrete, actually, due to the termite spit animal dung and dirt they're made out of. It all gets solidified in the hot sun. If you find yourself at the Gorilla Falls walking trail here at the Animal Kingdom, you can actually see a cool cross-section of a termite mound that could open right down the middle. It's pretty neat. It's like a little city in there. Off to our left-hand side, there's a creature all by their lonesome on top of that hill. That is an eland. Now, eland are actually the largest antelope in all of Africa. That big guy is about 2,000 pounds, fully grown. And they can jump about 5 feet up in the air from a standstill, which is pretty crazy for something so big. Let's see. First things first, those tiny little brown creatures up ahead. Those are some springbok. A springbok might be small, but they're actually one of the fastest land animals in the entire world. They can run about 55, 60 miles an hour. They also jump forward about 13 feet, about 5 feet up in the air when they run full tilt. Now, these grayish black-looking creatures are some wildebeest, of course. Wildebeest are also known as the gnu because of the vocalization they make. Sounds like they're saying new. Wildebeest travel in herds, about 1,000 individuals in a wildebeest herd on average. But every year, about 1.5 million of them make the journey across Africa in one of the largest mammal migrations in the entire world. About 900 miles the wildebeest walk as they chase the rains going over the African continent. Occasionally followed by other animals like the zebra. Coming up off to our left, friends, giraffe.
왼쪽이 giraffe? Yeah.
The group of giraffe is known as a tower. So this is a tower of giraffe right here.
Wow, 하성아 기린.
Out of all these giraffe right here, that one that's kind of in the center, the little short guy, is actually one of the youngest giraffe on the reserve right now. He's only about 10 months old.
하성아 기린 안녕 해줘야지.
Now, these are Maasai giraffe. That's the specific species these are. Tallest land animal in the world, about 19, 20 feet tall, fully grown. Also already about 6 feet tall when they're born. We saw the cousin of the giraffe earlier, the okapi. So like the okapi giraffe, they've got very, very long tongues, about 1.5 feet long, which they can use to wrap around your bundle leafy greens and stuff like that at the top of trees, called prehensile tongues because of that ability. Now, giraffe, they also spend most of their daytime awake, usually eating, which honestly sounds kind of like me. Now, they do sleep for scattered moments or minutes throughout the day. If you add it all up and combine it, though, a giraffe really only sleeps for about 30 minutes for a whole day. Alright, guys, looks like there's an African elephant up to our right. Let's go right over to that overhang up ahead. Probably a better view from both ways.
하성이 코끼리 보여?
Now, elephant are matriarchal in nature, so that means a female will lead the herd. Usually the oldest and the wisest. Well, knows best watering holes, best place to eat, stuff like that. Males, once they get old enough, they'll strike out on their own or be forced out of the herd, become a lot more solitary. This is up by themselves, almost like that male. He's waving bye to us.
안녕 해줘 하성이 코끼리. 코끼리 안녕.
Now, this one's out by themselves, so most likely a male.
인사한다 코끼리가.
Now, like I said, adult male elephants are usually pretty solitary creatures, but they will occasionally form bachelor herds of just entirely males. But those are a lot more loosely aligned than, say, the female-led herds or the young instead.
맞아.
Alright guys, now coming up off to our left and our right along these rock walls, you're about to see some red clay deposits. Now these are interesting because elephants will come up to red clay, grind their tusks into it, which actually helps them get minerals they don't normally get from their plant-based diet. Great example of that here up to the right of the truck. They push their tusks into the clay. Now, elephant tusks are actually teeth. That's their scissor teeth. Now, those tusks, along with their trunks, really their trunks especially, these are pretty much everything. Eating, drinking, communicating with each other. They're very dexterous appendages, got about 100,000 individual muscles in one trunk. Seems like the herd's a little bit spread out right now. Maybe we'll catch up with them a bit further up.
확실히 크다. one mammal.
Now, not to state the obvious, but elephant are, of course, gigantic creatures. About 13,000 pounds fully grown. They've also got one of the longest gestation periods for any animal. They'll hold their young for about 22-ish months before they're born. And all I know is it gets a reaction out of people.
화성아 이제 물로 들어가 우리. 조심해. 조심해. 물로 들어갔어.
Coming up off to our left, folks, some flamingo. These are greater flamingo. So that's the specific species these are. They're called that because they're the largest flamingo
이제
species.
봐봐.
Now they start life as a more whitish gray color, so the ones a little bit more white, a little bit more gray. Those are the younger ones of the flock. Look at their classic thick color from their beta carotene and the invertebrates to lead throughout their lives. Group of flamingo is also known as a flamboyance. So there's a flamboyance of flamingo right here. And they're known to gather in groups around 10,000 individual birds on occasion. Now, not a lot of people know this, but that part where the flamingo leg bends, that's actually not their knee, that's their ankle. Their knees are a lot further up, closer to their body. Not too much going on over here either, but once again, there is some evidence of animals. Now, off to the left, you'll see that big mud pit, or a mud wallow as it's called. A rhino, they love to dig those up, roll around in them, kill themselves in a pretty thick layer of mud, which actually works as a form of sunscreen and bug repellent all in one. Now, elephant, they do something kind of similar. Sometimes you'll see elephant roll around in the sand or the dirt. But have you ever seen elephant pick up sand or dirt or something with their trunk, kind of throw it on themselves or spritz it on themselves? That's them putting on a form of sunscreen. Folks, if you look at our 9 o'clock, there's a cheetah stalking around over there. She's pretty far back, but she's there.
치타 맨 뒤에.
Fastest land animal in the world right there, about 60 miles an hour they can run up to.
Do you see it? Do you see it?
And they
치타.
reach that speed with the help of their semi-retractable claws. Because they can't fully retract their claws, which is actually different than the other large cats. Helps them grip the ground. It's kind of like a cleat of football everywhere. They can really only run super fast for short spurts though. A couple hundred meters before they gotta slow back down. Okay folks, now if you look up to our left up on these rocks right here, there's a lion sitting on top of them.
사자, 화성아 사자,
It's actually the
사자.
male up there, a female on the shorter rock. There's between these two rocks right here, he's on the second one. The very, very top, and on that shorter little pillar is the female where that tree's kind of laying down on.
무서워?
You can
안
tell that one's the
무서워.
male because that big patch of fur around his head. That's the mane.
부셔?
He's a little bit on the smaller side. He's actually a bit of a younger male. A lion, they love to climb up on rock formations like these, which are known as kopie, which are rock formations that jut out from the flat savanna landscape. Now they go up there, here on the reserve and out in the wild, when they want to survey their territory, or when they want to figure out where each other are, go up there and roll right, they'll do so. Lions work in action, we're about 5-6 miles away. Now, lion are nocturnal animals, so these are mostly active at night. This is morning for them. That time is when they do their hunting. Yep, there's actually 3 of them. There's a female up on top of that rock, sunbathing. Absolutely fantastic view of all of them. Now, like I said, nighttime is when the lions will do their hunting. Now, females, like the one on the top, the one a little bit lower, will do all the hunting. Well, the males, they'll stay back, watch over their territory, and take care of the young. Absolutely beautiful.
펭귄? 아프리카에는 펭귄 안 사.
Now guys, about 15, 20 feet from the right side of the truck on the ground, there's an ostrich nest, some ostrich eggs right there. Now, those are the largest eggs any bird will lay. Each one of those is about 3 pounds each.
사줘.
Oh, those eggs are obviously very, very big. They're also very sturdy.
사줘.
An adult human could stand on an ostrich egg and that egg would probably be fine.
아이.
I'd say the same for the person though.